Today we have the most special guest here with us, His Holiness the Dalai Lama. Thank you very much, sir, for speaking to CNN IBN. I'm very happy to personally meet you and that you've agreed to spare time and speak to CNN IBN. There would have been several other questions that I could have started this interview with, but I have to begin with this one, keeping in mind what the world is going through together, which is its fight against terror. You've seen what happened in Paris, you've seen what happened in Belgium. You've got, of course, followers in India and Tibetans who follow you, but you have a following across the world. What would you like to tell both the victims of the Belgium attack and the perpetrators of that attack?
If there's chance to meet, then I want to tell both are human beings. Both want happy life, do not want suffering. Now, this is, I feel, symptom of 20th century's mistake and negligence. Once you start violence, another sort of violence, counter violence, continuously go that way.
The mistake of the past 20th century, what is the mistake, is what I'm trying to understand.
Violence, war is almost like part of human history. Then, you see, that still, that sort of, or say the habit still is come. And as I mentioned earlier, early part of 20th century, you see the interest for one's own nation and other nation is more or less separate, so self-sufficient. So in that circumstances, destroy your neighbor who create some problems or some agitation, irritation, then destroy that community or that sort of nation is your victory. Now modern, the reality no longer that.
From this international intolerance, as it were, in India there has been a debate on tolerance. You know, in Dadri in UP, a man was killed for allegedly for eating beef. How do you react to that?
Oh, sometimes you see connected with religious belief. But then I think the religious believer or people who follow certain religion, then they should follow strictly according to your faith. But then it's very difficult to ask other people also should follow same way. That is difficult.
Yeah.
I'm Buddhist.
Right.
I never try to propagate Buddhism. Never.
Yeah.
You see, different people, different faith, it's their private business. We are
you want
same
to eat
human
beef,
being.
it's your private business. Yeah.
Same human being, a common interest. Now, I think we, for that, I think as far as the conflict or killing in the name of religion, I think India have, I think, important role to show, you see, to these people. India, you see, I think over 1,000 years, at least I think 2,000 years, you see, India, beside homegrown different religion, from outside, Zoroastrian, Judaism, Christianity, Islam, you see, come here, it's settled. Basically, there is really genuine sort of harmonies there, mutual respect like that. Few individuals sometimes create some problem. That's understandable. So therefore, I think India, the most populated democratic country, peaceful, generally, very stable. So I think our neighboring states, Afghanistan or Pakistan and some other, eventually Iraq, Iran, Syria, I think should learn India's sort of pattern. Different religious tradition is a private business, can live together.
I'd like to ask you, have you tried to reach out to the Chinese government?
I always consider people, ultimately, people is the, how should I, anyway, I think the owner of the land. I usually is telling, world belongs to 7 billion human beings, and each country belongs to the people, not rajas or ranis or spiritual sort of leaders like that. So then China, of course, you see, basically China belongs to the 1.3 or 4 billions of Chinese people, not this party or that party like that. So you see, now for example in India also, you see, we have, you see, the connection with government, of course, very important, very sympathetic, very supportive, from Pandit Nehru up to now Modi, wonderful. Then another level, public level. So similarly, China, the government level, you see, last few decades, and now recent few years, you see, sometimes you see mixed signal. One signal hardliner, one signal more moderate. So these, of course, you see, unpredictable.
Chinese government.
But people, many intellectuals, for example, about I think 4 years ago, you see, we noticed about 1,000 articles in Chinese language, wrote by Chinese. Of course, some overseas Chinese also there, and Chinese within China also. So these over 1,000 articles all fully support about our middle wave approach, and very sympathetic, very supportive, and very critical about their own government policy. So this is a public reaction, public sort of expression like that. Then those Chinese Buddhists, now from time to time, you see, in spite of many difficulties, they come to see me.
But officially you've tried to reach out to the Chinese government through Indian government or not? Very specific.
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay.
Of course, Indian government, you see, can do something, because you see, the Chinese government, I think, very, very eager to have closer relation with the Indian government. Now, then I think, if may I say so, I'm here the longest guest of Indian government. Then the India, the relation between India and Tibet is, I think, 1,000 years, something very unique.
I want to ask you, the Xi Jinping's wife is believed to be a devout Buddhist. Have you tried to reach out to her through someone?
I know Xi Jinping's father, Xi Zhongxun, very well. I'm one of the admirer Xi Zhongxun at that time.
Xi Jinping's father?
The father, yes. I think chief secretary of the Prime Minister Zhou Enlai. So sometimes you see the Chinese leaders, you see, they less sort of human face. I mean like that. Xi Zhongxun, more smile. So I love him. So I also, you see, gave him one wrist watch. So like that.
When is this?
1954, 55.
This is Xi Jinping's father you gave a watch to?
Yes.
Okay.
So then, according to some sort of my friend, who also some close relation with Xi Jinping's family, then Xi Jinping's mother, very, very devoted Buddhist. There's no question. And his wife also is some interest in Buddhism. So, and I was told, you see, that old watch, which the Xi Zhongxun, received from me, that watch also kept there. I heard So in any way, these are the personal level.
You know, in the recent elections to the position of Prime Minister in Dharamshala, for the Tibetan government in exile, as you call it, one of the candidates said that they want complete independence from China and not just autonomy. So, do you see that there is a bit of a change there coming in, where the younger Tibetans they feel, or at least a part of them feel, that they want complete independence and are not happy with just autonomy?
This is not new. I think since few decades, you see, among Tibetan, you see, particularly younger one, you see, they sometimes they quite critical about our middle-wave approach. But I think 90%, even among refugee community here, I think they fully support. And then most important, inside Tibet, I met a number of Tibetan intellectuals or students and religious people. You see, sometimes they carry some message of group people. You see, they find our way of approach, middle way of approach, is realistic and according present circumstances, that's the best method.
How do you find Indian government's policy under Prime Minister Modi? Do you think it is different from previous Indian governments, or is it the same?
I think same. The India the system is such, the party change, but the government function more or less is continuously.
But Prime Minister Modi did invite Lobsang Sangye for the swearing-in ceremony, the Prime Minister of the Tibetan government in exile. Do you think that's not significant?
I don't think. Usually, I don't care about the formality. That doesn't matter. I don't like. Actually, I don't like this too much formality. I don't like. Some people like that.
When I'd interviewed Lobsang Sangye, he'd said that he would want Tibet to be the core issue between India and China. Do you agree with him? Do you see Tibet as the core issue at the moment or not?
Oh, no doubt, you see, Tibet issue also one of the important issue regarding good relation with China. Many years ago, you see, one of my idea or vision, eventually Tibet should be a zone of peace. Then you see both nations get immense benefit. You know, millions of dollar or millions of rupees and yuan you see spent in these difficult area for defense.
Do you feel like going back to Tibet? How often do you think of at least visiting Tibet?
That we all Tibetan, you see, feel that. But I spend now in Tibet, I don't know, now 81-year-old, so very high altitude, I don't know. I think India's lowland and India's climate, I think, spoiled me, maybe. So I prefer, you see, lowland. Occasionally I visit Ladakh, but Tibet, quite high altitude. So of course I'm very, very keen, you see, go there, visit there as a pilgrimage and see.
Talking of your health, how are you doing? Everybody's quite worried.
Oh, you see, just recently I come back some medical treatment in Mayo Clinic. So since Mayo Clinic, I think last now 9 years annually medical checkup. So actually this time the medical treatment about 5 weeks, the outwardly medical treatment, the reality complete rest. the medication takes few minutes, some radiation, like that. So the whole sort of rest day, complete rest. And I think I found almost, recent decades, I think this is the only occasion, complete rest over 1 month. So sometimes I wish, you see, that kind of not very serious illness, but a little illness is also some benefit.
You know, many people are curious about who the next Dalai Lama is going to be. So is the search on? Have you started looking?
Now, I think within the next few years, I think, as I mentioned in few years ago, when my age, you see, reach nearly 85 or something like that, or 90, then I want to going to meeting, or going to have some also the meeting the concerned also the leaders of Tibetan Buddhist tradition, and then also I think Mongolia is a very close relation with Dalai Lama institution. So I think eventually, I think within the next few years, I think 1 or 2 years, I think some meeting will take place.
Can it be a woman?
Yes. I have some reason. This is not a joke. You know, including spiritual, including, I think mainly leadership, concept of leadership. I think 100,000 years ago, human community, very small, no concept of leadership. And then farming system come, and then the population increase, then some sort of criminals things you see happen. So the leadership, idea of leadership used to come. At that time, no sort of the education. So in order to become leadership, physical strength is the key factor. So therefore, the leadership, mainly male carry the leadership, like other animals. So then, even you see religious institution, also you see there's some sort of tendency of male dominance. Then education comes. Education brings more equal. Like this country, Indira Gandhi ji, and Israeli, Golda Meir, and England, Mrs. Thatcher, so on. Very able sort of leader, female leader, come because of the modern education being more equal. And now, not only that, existing modern education is not adequate, you see, to produce happy individual, happy family, happy community, finally happy humanity. Because this existing modern education system is very much oriented about material value, external value, completely neglect about our inner value. So therefore, now time comes, we have to make special effort to promote inner value, that's human love. In that respect, female, biologically, more sensitive about others' pain. That's scientifically now, you see, they prove. So therefore, now at a time, for promotion or special effort, promotion of human internal value, or say the inner value, human love, human affection. Now in that respect, female should take more active role. Sometimes I really feel leadership about 200 nations, I think majority take by female, maybe a little safer. I really feel that.
Thank you very much, sir, for spending your time with us. Thank you very much.